One day, Kirby was exploring in the Popopo Islands in the south of Popstar. He was snoozing in a field, napping the day away. But then dark clouds filled the sky, and a skull-faced fiend descended. It was Necrodius, the leader of the Skull Gang. The Skull Gang wanted to drown light in darkness. Necrodius raised his staff and struck Kirby with his mischievous magic. Necrodius split Kirby into 10 copies of himself, each having only a fraction of Kirby's greatness. The Fiend was easily able to defeat each of these weaker Kirbys. Before long, there was only one Kirby left. Popstar was about to lose its greatest defender and plunge into darkness forever. As the last Kirby raised his head, he saw a star shining brightly. That light was from Kirby's own heroic heart, which had flown to safety. His heart called out to him, "Kirby, follow me. We can fight Necrodius together." So began Kirby's quest to save Popstar and restore Kirby back to his usual self. If they could defeat Necrodius, they could use his magic staff to make everything right. What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome to my new Let's Play in Kirby Mass Attack. And saying that, I do need to preface, this is not taking over for Fire Emblem Engage, which I am releasing on the weekdays. This is just to supplement that Let's Play, and I will be releasing this Let's Play on the weekends, which Saturday and Sunday, basically. And the reason I want to do that is because Fire Emblem is a very specific and taxing game to record and everything. And I just wanted a lighthearted and fun game that I could release on the weekends and just have fun with. And the first one that came to mind was Kirby Mass Attack. I love this game, by the way, because it is only one of 2 Kirby games that I was able to play as a kid. And if I tell you the other one, you will think I have never played a Kirby game before. Because the other one is Kirby's Epic Yarn, and they are the 2 games that Kirby does the least Kirby things in. And it's kind of funny. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. File select, and we are just choosing file 1. And the first thing I want to do is actually go into options, because this is a DS game and a very heavily stylus and touchscreen game. So you want to go into the option and pick if you are left-handed or right-handed before you start, because it will make your gaming experience easier. You can also watch the credits if you want, but we're just going to go back and start the story mode. Alright, getting into the first world, Green Grounds. This is a stage. Thank you, game. This number shows how many Kirbys you need to enter the stage. Yes, each level actually requires you to have a certain number of Kirbys to actually enter the game, or to enter the stage. And this first one obviously is 1, because we only have 1 Kirby, so to start the game, they make you use 1. And getting into this first stage, you can see, we're just going to skip that. You can see that on the top screen, you can see your number of Kirbys, a fruit gauge, and then medals. I will be going over all 3 of those things in a little bit, but the first thing is we need to touch the screen and make Kirby appear. So this game entirely relies on you touching the screen. And it's telling you to, or it's telling me to press the apple, but I want to go over movement first. So to move, you just need to press the screen and the Kirby will go to where you need it to go. You could also hold the Kirby and draw a line, and then it will follow the line until it gets to the end. Or if you press and throw the Kirby, you can, of course, throw the Kirby. And then if you double tap the screen anywhere, the Kirby will quickly or run to it. And we are just gonna grab this fruit and add 1 to our fruit gauge. And the fruit gauge is actually how we gain more Kirbys. And it's teaching us how to move and everything right now. Thank you, game. But the fruit gauge is how you get more Kirbys. Basically, every 100 you get in the fruit meter, you get 1 extra Kirby until you get to 10 Kirbys, which is the max you can have. And let me tell you, 10 Kirbys is a lot to handle. But we will get to that when we get to that. That question mark is just going to tell us what I already told you about how to fly. You just hold the Kirby, or you press on the Kirby and hold it, and it will draw the blue circle around it, and then you can draw a line to where you want it to go. And now we are just chasing after this little enemy called a Beanbon, which is actually an enemy that replaces the Waddle Dee in this game for some reason. They wanted to make a weaker enemy, I guess, and their response to that was the Beanbon, which is that little guy. To break these blocks, by the way, you just need to throw the Kirbys into them, and we don't need to break all of them. We just need to break enough to get up here. So we're just gonna break 1 on each, and then this one we just need to throw it at the bomb, and it'll blow up all those metals. All the metal blocks, I guess I should say. And then we once again confront the Beanbon. Alright, if you move Kirby onto an enemy, he'll go to work pummeling the foe. And this is the entirety of the fighting mechanic. If you continue to click on the enemy after you run into them, I believe Kirby does more damage. And almost every enemy will drop either something important or a piece of fruit. And there's several pieces of fruit, but all we're getting right now is apples because it's the beginning of the game. And apples, of course, if you look at the meter, give you 1 fruit per apple. But what we want to do is actually fly up here, because this is the location of our first medal. If you fly up here with your Kirby, directly after doing the fighting tutorial, you can get up here and get your first medal. And I will be going over all 186 medals in this game. And yes, that is a lot of medals. But we are just going to continue to run this way and fight this Beanbon. And luckily in this first world, the medals are pretty simple. There's not really any difficult medals in this first world because they want to teach you everything. But what I'm doing right now is I'm throwing the Kirby at this green vine thing, and it's teaching you that when you pull them down, there's usually stuff hidden in them. And it's also showing you that when you pull them down, if anything is underneath it, it will be crushed, like the blocks that were underneath it. Also, we got a banana in one of those, and the bananas give you 10 fruit in your fruit gauge. But this is also the location of our second medal. Also, this one right here, I will throw it on there and Kirby will be knocked off. That happens whenever you do not have enough Kirbys. And I believe this vine requires 8 to 10 Kirbys, so we will have to come back to see what's in there. And now we're just fighting a bird. Attack again. If a foe throws Kirby off during battle, send him back into action again. And you just have to tap, avoid the attack, and then just attack again. And then we have this tree, and the way we get past this tree is throw Kirby. That's basically, I want to say half of the puzzles in this game are throw Kirby. And here's our first example of getting another Kirby. Once we got up 100, and you also probably saw that the tree dropped a melon. The melons give 50 to the Kirby gauge, which is actually how we got the second Kirby. And I'm going to hide under here. And with 2 Kirbys, we have double the power, which means we can take out these birds in 1 cycle instead of 2 now. And we're just going to break all 3 of these blocks because I want to get as many Kirbys as possible. These pink magic rings are actually super important as well. As you can see in this picture, it turns blue Kirbys into pink Kirbys again. Basically, a pink Kirby can take 2 regular hits, and on the first hit, it becomes a blue Kirby. So if you have any Kirbys that have been damaged into a blue Kirby, you can turn them back into their full health pink Kirby forms. And we are just going to attack this. And this is our first instance of a warp gate. If you've cleared the stage, you can use this door to warp to the end. It's very good if you have to backtrack into stuff, or if you're going back into a stage to get like 1 coin you missed or something. It's very nice for that. But we're just going to take out this bean bon and fly. This is very helpful, by the way. Being able to just draw, it's much easier to maneuver than if you had to jump everything. And our next enemy is this guy. The Snooze Root is the name of it. And they are very annoying. Basically, they're fully asleep whenever you first encounter them. And when you get close, they wake up. And you need to defeat them before they're able to spit at you, because they spit what is like an ink substance. And if your Kirby gets locked in it for too long, they get damaged. But when they are hit by it, as you saw, you can actually click on the Kirby and it will release the Kirby from their imprisonment, I guess. And now we are just playing tug of war against, I guess, an egg or a root or something. And if we win, we get a bunch of fruit. Not quite a 4th Kirby, unfortunately, but we do have 3 right now. And just to show this, if you get hit, you get put in that, and then you can click on the Kirby and it releases them. 3 Kirby should be enough to take this guy out in 1 cycle. I guess not. Click that Kirby to release him again, and if we beat that Snooze Root, we can get down here and pull down these vines to get... The first one gives us another medal, which is actually our 4th medal, which means we've missed one. You could probably guess where it is by what we've seen so far. It's definitely under the root that needs the 8 to 10 Kirbys. But we're just not able to get it right now, so we have to come back to this chapter later in order to get it. And we want to avoid that seed because it will damage us if it hits us. And we should be getting close to the end of the stage. We just need to get into this cannon and fire all of our Kirbys. And just hit the giant bird. Seems like a real dick move to just shoot the bird, but oh well. Also, you can juggle between enemies if you're worried about them attacking you, because if you're attacking them, they're not able to move. And also, in this last block is our final coin for the stage. And we just need to fly up here, and I believe right over here is the end of the stage, which you can tell by the blackening of the background and the gold door. And we got a gold star with no damage. And, well, it's going to tell us actually, rainbow bubble. Watch out for these bubbles. Pop them to move onward. Basically, every circle of the chapters or the worlds will have one of these rainbow bubbles, which will make a rainbow into an interior circle, as you will see right now. And with that rainbow, we can actually get into the inner circle. And we are going... Well, we completed some of our checklist. And that's it. But we are heading into stage 2. And just to be transparent, I will be doing 3 stages per video, just to keep up with only doing these on weekends and make them a little bit longer so that they're a little bit more enjoyable. But our first new mechanic are these like bud things, which if you throw Kirbys at them, they will fall to the opposite side of wherever you threw the Kirbys from. So in this case, I'm throwing Kirbys from the left side, so it will fall to the right. crushing these poison news roots. And we get a 5th Kirby. And as you can see, already with only 5 Kirbys, it is getting precarious to control all of them. And this enemy, you just want to wait till it tires itself out and then you swarm it. And I believe it takes 8 Kirbys to knock it all the way down. Nope, don't attack it yet. Wait till it gets tired and swarm. And we're just gonna break that last box and head back up this way. And we should... Yes. This is our first example of a growing root. And what you want to do is you want to wait for this one to be tall and then throw your Kirbys at it. Because it'll fall at the height that you first attack it from. And you want it to be tall so it can break this metal box and you can get a the melon, which I'm apparently was wrong about the melon. The melon only gives you 25 on your fruit. And now we have a light puzzle. You just need to throw the Kirbys at these buttons while they're flashing the light in order to get the door to open. And this is a really early point for them to give us this to give us the healing circle. You want this route to be small in order to get this to get the first of the medals, and also to avoid this guy. Basically, these snooze roots will, instead of shooting 1 poison pellet at you, they will shoot a ton into the air. But if you can defeat them before they actually are able to shoot, then it deflects the shot entirely. And we're just gonna let that one go and try to maneuver around this just to land on him again in order to knock him out before he can throw anymore. And now we have 6 Kirbys. We are getting to max velocity of Kirbys. But what we have here is a fruit box, and what you want to do is throw Kirbys at it as quickly as physically possible to get as many fruits out of it as possible. You can usually get 1 to 2 Kirbys out of a fruit box, which it looks like we're getting 1 out of this one. Nope, stay back. Hold your ground, Kirbys. And I guess it's 7. Oh, and here's our first example of a big bean bond. Big bean bonds are big enemies in general. I believe require 10 Kirbys to knock out. So you will almost always, have to fight them twice in order to get them out. And we're just gonna break these 3 to show the second skip door so that we know where it is. And we have another snooze root, which I want to knock out. And again, if you just mash where you want the Kirbys to go, they will pretty much go exactly where you want them to. And also, the Kirbys can collect based on how they're flying like this as well. So it's a good thing to keep in mind so you know how much range you have and how easily you can actually fight each of the enemies. And what we want to do here is actually defeat this bean bond, but we don't want it to crush us, so we want to avoid the bean bond, the big bean bond, which is its official name, by the way. It's just a big bean bond. They didn't give it a different name or anything. And we want to fly up here and get to the right side of this orange plant to be able to attack it from the right side to make it fall to the left to open up this gold door. And gold doors are really important to keep in mind because they usually hold good stuff behind them. And we're just going to attack this spinning guy so it's not in our way anymore. Attack this one as well. And I actually want to teleport over this one to... Oh, I guess I can. I'm going to teleport back over here, and we are just going to throw at this... Oh, and that's why. Because this is a chain reaction one that leads us all the way to the end, and this is how we get our second medal of the or of the stage. I will mix up stage and chapter probably every episode of this series, if I'm being honest. But what we want to do here is throw at this one and get this key, because the key is going to be very important, and you have to keep the Kirby that is holding the key from taking any damage while holding the key in order to keep the key, because if they take any damage, they will drop the key, and you'll have to redo all of this in order to get the last thing you need the key for. But I just want to collect all of these bananas to get our 9th Kirby. We are very close to having max capacity of Kirbys. And this one, actually, I don't believe it matters which side you throw the Kirbys from, because it is a heavy bulb, it will always fall downwards and become a wrecking ball. And the thing you need the key for is actually right here. You need to carry the key for like 5 feet, and then you can open this chest to get the last of the medals for this stage. And then we are just going to fly up here and make our way to the end of this stage, which I believe is right here, which should be another gold star with no damage. And we have 9 Kirbys. I'm trying to debate if I want to go back to stage 1 or if I want to go on to stage 3. I think I'll go on to stage 3, which spiders is what it looks like. And after I'm done with stage 3, we'll go back to stage 1 and get the last medal. And that'll be the last thing we do this episode. Alright, and to get this stage started, we have a switch. Which, if we push the switch, it will open this time-sensitive door. And you kind of just have to mash and get through the door as quickly as possible before this closes again. It's our first example of a timed event, and there are several throughout this game. It's getting dark. These spiders are pretty easy to fight. If you get close to them, they'll attack, but all you have to do is stand slightly off to the side, and they'll just miss. Also, this is our second timed event. You just push that one and mash your way through here. And these spiders can actually be dangerous. If they grab your Kirby and can get all the way off the screen, then they will take the Kirby, and it'll be an instant death for that Kirby in particular. But as you can see, you can pretty easily cheese the spiders to make them always attack before you are actually underneath them. And it's just an easy way to get extra fruit if you don't have 10 Kirbys yet. And I believe we just want to take out this one. And now we have swinging spiders, which are almost as easy to defeat because you could just swarm them. They will almost always grab a Kirby, which is dangerous, mind you. But it's not super terrible, because since you swarm them, they will always be at the ground, so you can get the rest of your Kirbys. And you can just defeat the spider before it actually gets any farther. And now we're in the trees fighting birds. And I believe this is our first example of a mini-boss arena. And also the first example of what I said about attacking the enemies so that they can't attack. And of course, our first mini-boss is the bird that we shot the first chapter. And what you want to do with this boss is throw at it while it's flying across the screen, and you want to try to knock it down like that, and just avoid the spike balls that it drops. And it'll drop a couple at a time. I believe it's 3 at a time. Or not, it'll just fly across again and allow me to throw more Kirbys. I believe you have to knock it down 2 or 3 times. Avoid that spike ball, and it'll almost always appear directly where you're standing. So you just need to stand still and then run to the other side of the screen to avoid. And I missed that throw. And I get this one, and this should be close to the end. If not the end, it is the end. And with that, the bird flies away without actually being defeated. And we want to avoid... This spider will always appear here once you grab its cocoon. Basically, it's a trap spider. Once you hit its web, it will attack. We still do not need the magic rings because we still have not been damaged. We do need to beat this Bonbon, though. Or not Bonbon, Beanbon. And we will take out that spider. And also, if you leave fruit too long, it will disappear. It's only super important while you are less than 10 Kirbys, because after 10 Kirbys, it does something else. But here is our 3rd timed event in one chapter. And it's just to get this coin. So what we need to do is we're just going to run down this side, make sure we get that coin, and then we're just going to throw a couple up here to make sure we can get all the fruit and get our 10th Kirby. And as long as you have the Kirbys jumping, it should not be a problem. In fact, I got it with plenty of time. And then we just need to go through this door again. And actually, it lands us over here to where the fast forward is. So if you miss that coin, you can get that coin and immediately fast forward. And this, I believe, is not... I was finally damaged. I was hurt. Turning blue. When Kirbys get hurt, he'll turn blue. It's okay. If he's hit again, he'll get KO'd. Basically just telling you what I told you already. That Kirbys have basically two lives. And after the second hit, they will die. But even if they die, they will be able to survive again. And that one gives us three bananas. And this one is the important one, which we're just going to take out the green spider, so we don't have to really worry about it. And once we have 10 Kirbys on this one, it will fall, and we get our second medal of the stage. And I believe the last medal is right there, and this is a timed event, so we need to basically run underneath this spider and get Kirbys on it, because once we get a Kirby on it, it basically is a free medal, and we'll be able to be knocked out almost immediately. And with that, that should be the end of the stage. And we get a silver because no Kirbys were KO'd, but we did take that 1 damage. So gold is no damage, silver is some damage, and then bronze, of course, is if your Kirbys are KO'd, but you don't actually lose them. Which I will go over when that happens, because this game is kind of difficult, and probably will happen. But with that, that's our second rainbow, and we get into the interior circle, or the second circle loop. But I just want to head back over to stage 1 and get our last medal that is over there. So I am just going to actually skip until we get over to where the medal is, so I can show you where it is, and then we'll skip to the end of the stage. Alright, now that we are back at this vine, we can just go ahead and pull it down. And with all 10 Kirbys, we get another medal. And just to show it off, because this is the first time we would be able to show it off, go ahead and take that bird out. And we're just gonna decimate this tree because we took it out very easily with 2 Kirbys. Why not with like 10? And then I want to run forward a little bit and just show. It should be somewhere around here. Yes, the fast forward door. I want to show how it works, because this is our first example of actually being able to use one. So you go through the door, and it basically lets you warp to the end, and you have to play what is basically tug of war against this slingshot that just slings you to the end door, which is very funny, by the way. But it's such a ridiculous thing. It couldn't have been like a warp star or anything. No, a giant slingshot for the 10 Kirbys. But with that, I think we are going to call this an episode. So I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we will do stages 4, 5, and 6. But until then, happy adventuring.